This is another fishing podcast.
I try to get I've tried to glean as much information I can from like Target Walleye, Bass Blaster, just to like techniques that are happening, good information on what, just what I should be doing, especially like ice fishing this time of year, because I'm not a novice, I'd say, but I'd like to be a much better walleye fisherman. So I commend Target Walleye for putting this kind of information out that is, I believe, can make you and I better ice fishermen. So here we go, midwinter Q&A. How in the world do you catch walleye and crappie this time of the year in midwinter? So this is from Target Walleye in their newsletter. During the open water season, it's easier to notice how bites, locations, and conditions change as the season progresses from spring to summer to fall. Ice fishing sort of just feels like one big season that's all the same, cold. But if you want to consistently stay on fish in the winter, you need to switch up what, where, how you're doing things as the ice season progresses too. Andrew and Gina Hiddle are a couple of folks who have been steady tracking them down all season long in central Minnesota. So our friend Joel Vanderkroll reached out to pick their brains in hopes of it helping you to get on a more consistent midwinter bite on your own local waters. So yeah, this is like good information from people that also deal with pressure, and that's why I wanted to share this on this podcast today, because I think this is going to be helpful. I'm kind of selfish here. I was like, I need to learn this. So I felt like if I need to learn this, maybe you guys need to learn this. So here we go. So these are some of the specimens that they've caught. It is Gina and Andrew, if that's correct. Yeah, so nice walleyes, crappies, and let me just make sure that I have their names right here. It is, yes, Andrew and Gina. So, all right, so what depth ranges and types of structure should anglers focus on during mid-season for crappies and walleyes? Walleyes, we tend to fish about 20 to 30 feet in the deeper basins next to weed lines or deeper rocks. Walleyes will come in shallower at night to feed. Crappies we are looking for in deeper basins suspended about 20 to 45 feet. Oh, goodness gracious, I'm sorry, I'm kind of burpy today. If you're trying to catch walleyes during the day, the dirtier the water, the better. It's getting harder to find dirty water nowadays, so most of your bites will be early or late. We find the fish tend to bite better with stable weather conditions. So that's good to know. How do your techniques for locating and catching fish evolve during mid-season compared to early ice? Mid-season walleye and crappies tend to go back where you find them late fall, deeper structure, rocks, saddles, and hard sand spots. We mark a lot of our spots during the boating season and go back to those same spots in the winter using the One Boat Network app to mark these spots. All right. So let's see here. I want to make sure I got... So you can see here on this map, I'll try to, I got to realize that too, that there's people listening. This isn't, I know we're doing a video podcast, but we're doing an audio podcast. So I kind of just need to describe, if you guys are listening, I appreciate you listening, what I'm describing here. So here's a map that I've brought up, and it shows the areas that they're talking about here. So you can see this underwater point, and on the left is the zoomed out version. On the right is the zoomed in version of that point. And you can see cabbage. There's some cabbage on the shallower shallower part of that point. Some coontail, scattered rocks, deep boulders. And that is breaking into, looks to be about 24, initially then into 27, 26, and then it just falls off into 45 feet of water. So that's they're basically saying like in lower light conditions, those fish are going to be in shallower water. In bright sun, they're going to be off deeper. So you can see like there's suspended crappies, and looks to be 25 feet. There's some suspended crappies in 38 feet. a walleye up in like, looks to be about 25 feet. So just deeper structure breaking off into the basin there is what appears to be going on. So look for those kind of areas. What signs are changes in the environment? Examples, bait fish movement, oxygen levels, should anglers pay attention to during mid-season. If there isn't any snow on the ice, the sun can shine through, and oxygen level in the weeds should remain high, keeping the bait fish in the weeds. Find the bait, find the fish. When fish are aggressive, don't be afraid to run big baits. Big bait equals big fish. When cold fronts move through, the fish always seem more finicky, so we downsize. We will size down to 32nd ounce crappie spoons and upsize the treble hooks. If you're using 32nd ounce crappie spoons is what I said, I think. If you're fishing dirty water, you want darker presentations, black, gold, golden perch. If the water is clear, you want more of a natural presentation, chromes and blues. When we were trying to call fish in, we like to use bigger rattle baits, knowing a lot of the time the fish will bite either the dead stick or a smaller spoon. Glow jigs are always a good option for night jigging. All right, yeah, so which baits or lure presentations are most effective for mid-season? And do you have any tips for fine-tuning their use? Make sure you run a mixture of big and small baits, anything from big sucker minnows to a crappie minnow on a dead stick. See how the fish react and adjust from there. We normally are jigging with number 5 jigging wraps and spoons to see what they're hungry for. And here's proof in the pudding right here. Nice walleye that Gina caught. Nice work. A lot of time we call them in by jigging, and they will eat the dead stick with a plain hook. So that's just a, it's a minnow. It's like a fathead minnow with, rigged with just a plain like octopus hook or something like that, I imagine. Don't be afraid to use big hooks on the dead stick. Most of the time people run too small hooks on the dead sticks, and they don't get a good hook set. What are a few overlooked tactics or strategies that can help anglers stand out and find success during the mid-season? Downsizing and upsizing is huge. Watching the fish react to your bait and seeing what's working and what isn't. Keep changing baits until you find what works. Also, stay away from the crowd. Might be surprised what you can find on less pressured lakes that people don't fish. That's a good. It's scary because you never know. I've thought about this. Ice fishing, it's easy. I think when you first start ice fishing this season, when you see those permanents go up on a spot, I kind of feel that it's not a bad idea to get out there and see what's going on in those areas. But as the season goes on, I feel like those places then are just absolutely hammered. So, you probably want to move away from those spots. But then I also wonder, these smaller bodies of water that you don't see much going on, maybe you don't see anything going on, what could be happening on those bodies of water? I think sometimes those bodies of water could have winter kills, so it's like, don't even touch that stuff. But it's always in the back of my mind, and this is the fun of fishing, right? It's like, could they be in there, and could it be just amazing? So I think you should go explore. You should try stuff, that you have to test. But it's one of those things where it just could really, really suck. And I think you just have to, you have to test sometimes. And that's the fun of fishing, is just the exploring, the pursuit of it. So I'm all for testing out, places that there's nobody. But you gotta also realize that it comes with a price potentially. Anyway, so let's see. Keep changing. So also stay away from the crowd. Might be surprised what you can find on less pressured lakes that people don't fish. Use the DNR surveys for references and the OnX Fish app to help determine fish populations to be more successful. That is great. It's a great tip. Again, though, some of these smaller bodies of water may fish, they could have fish kills. So some of that information from like the OnX Fish app or like the DNR surveys or whatever could be old information and not up to date. Gina and Andrew say, we don't hardly ever fish next to anyone. There's so much water that is untouched. There's no reason to fish in big groups of people. Those are the hardest fish to catch. Every fish caught is memorable, is a memorable experience to us. That's a great philosophy. 100%. Every fish is memorable, especially the ones that you kind of catch yourself away from the crowds. So yeah, it's good to hear that. These guys obviously know what they're talking about. So it kind of helps me have confidence to not get so close to people when I don't know what the hell I'm doing. All right, and yeah, here's some more examples. Catching nice crappies there. Gina and Andrew. I'd like to go fishing with these guys. Okay, where were we here? What water clarity? I guess they live in central Minnesota. Hit me up, guys, if somehow you're listening to this. Yeah. Where was I here? What water clarity conditions have been the most productive for you? We typically try to fish dirty water because it is easier to fish throughout the entire day. Clear water, you'll get your flash bites at sunrise and sunset. Good to know. You think too, though, that happens and where it's going to be harder to find like clear bodies of water in the winter. So many bodies of water clear up because you don't, like so many lakes around me have algae blooms in the summer, and so the water clarity is not great, but it makes for great fishing. And those fisheries also are just like, because it's got those algae blooms, it's like there's a lot of runoff from farms. It's like Miracle Grow going into these bodies of water that just kind of, they supercharge the whole ecosystem, the whole food chain. So they can be really amazing fisheries, but what happens is in the cold, the algae bloom goes away and that water really clears up. So finding clear, or dirty water is going to be harder. I don't even know necessarily around me where I could find a lake that has kind of dirtier water. I don't know. I have some ideas. Let's put it that way. Okay. Anyway. All right, where were we here? Yeah, another Gina there with another nice walleye. Nicely done there. Are you exploring new fishing spots or returning to proven locations? We fish a lot of the same spots every year. We almost have a routine of where and when we go to catch them every year. We do try new spots when we can. Never know what you're going to find. I love it. That's what's so much fun about fishing. Have you noticed specific times of day that are particularly productive this season? Most of the bites will be at sunrise or at sunset, but a lot of our bigger fish come between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. on dead sticks. 4 a.m. Holy smokes. These guys, they hit it hard. I like it. All right, here's some more examples of, gee whiz, those are nice walleyes. Nice crappie. And what looks to be a beautiful brown lab right there. Yeah, so I think that's that is the article. Just wanted to share that with you. I'm always looking for information to make myself a better angler, and God knows I need a lot of help, especially in the winter with ice fishing. And I just thought that was a great article to kind of help with, especially this time, that we are in the depths, the doldrums of winter. So good information there on how to make yourself a better walleye and crappie fisherman this time of year.